Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the World Championship Series America 2014, the Premier League Season 1, and we're in the semi-finals. That's right. Nathanius is with me. I kind of want to talk about what just happened in WCS Europe, even though we're now in WCS America, because you and I are both Terrans, and the Terran just won, and it's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's always a good feeling. We've run out of them in the American region. So that was some fantastic games played by MMA.
Yeah, okay. If you weren't with us earlier on, let's just check out the schedule for the next couple of days. Of course, you've missed 2 days. Well, you might not have missed them. You might have been with us where we completed the quarterfinals for both Europe and America. Today, we're going to concentrate on the semi-finals. And if you weren't with us earlier, spoiler alert, quickly turn down the mic, like the mute the button. MC and MMA are through in WCS Europe. It's now time to turn our attention to WCS America. And tomorrow from 8 o'clock Central European Summertime, you will join us for a fantastic night of StarCraft 2. And there'll be a lot of fun as well. I'm not going to give it away, but we've got something very special at the start of the show tomorrow. So make sure you tune in as early as you can. We'll be doing the Europe final tomorrow and WCS America as well. Right now, it's time to turn our attention to WCS America. The bracket has been fraught for Terrans, it has to be said. I think if you'd employed George Martin to write the script for the round of 8, it wouldn't be too far removed from a red wedding, would it?
No, all 3 Terran players being eliminated. And, you know, it's funny when you look at just this bracket, when we originally had the round of 8, you could have easily said that any of those Terran players could have made it or won the championship. I think Pult had the most momentum going behind him. But, you know, at the cost of those Terrans, we had some fantastic and phenomenal games brought up basically by everybody. I've been really impressed with HyuN and Revival so far in this WCS America season.
Yeah, okay. And we're going to kick off with Alicia versus HyuN. But overall, let's take a look at the 4 players in total. With Pult, Tasia and Bomber out, and with no disrespect to the players that have gone through, they've played terrifically well, as you said. Does that now blow this wide open? Is there a clear favourite anymore?
I think that was one of the cool points that we'd mentioned yesterday towards the end of the show. Any one of these guys could win. Any one of them, if they did win it, would be one of the biggest wins that they'd get, especially to kick off this year. And I think it definitely provides an interesting spectating experience because there is no clear favorite.
Okay, match number 1 is Alicia versus HyuN. Alicia came through what looked on paper like an impossible mission for him in the quarterfinals, but he did it in such a fantastic way. I mean, it was a close match. It was 3-2 with Bomber, but he just looked very stylish.
Yeah, I think one of the best things that we saw out of Alicia in his round of 8 games was that he was willing to mix it up. And we did see, as you said, this interesting series that was actually a very messy series to actually get through here. But I have a feeling that against HyuN, he doesn't have to be as creative. I think a more solid style for this matchup would plan out pretty well for him.
Okay, turning our attention to HyuN, had a great 2013, had an opening win at DreamHack Valencia, which was his first Premier title win. Unlike Alicia, who was still looking for that one, of course, out of the Axiom home. And like Alicia, HyuN came through a quarterfinal, which on paper looked really difficult for him. He said at the end of the round of 16, please don't give me Tasia. Anyone but Tasia. In fact, he was happy playing Pult, I think. He didn't want Tasia. We gave him Tasia, and he won 3-2. Does he need to prove anything more to us that he's a fantastic player?
I don't think so. We joked about it. He didn't want to play against Tasia, obviously. Tasia's win rate against him was absurdly high. We brought out all these statistics, and HyuN showed us that when it really matters, he can turn it up to a whole other level. And I feel like that's the kind of drive. If he can maintain that level that he was able to go up to against Tasia, this should be a breeze of a match for him. But he has to be very careful against some of those wonky builds that we could get out of Alicia.
Yeah, I don't want to go too far ahead, but both of these players, if they win, I don't think they'll mind who they play. If Alicia beat Oz in the round of 32 2-0, likewise HyuN beat Revival 2-1, and that's the other semi-final. So they've got to be careful not to get too far ahead of themselves in this match and start thinking, actually, if I win this, I've probably won the whole thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a situation where you want to take it one series at a time. There's no reason to look towards the grand finals because even getting there is a pretty big accomplishment, as we said, with the players that they've had to defeat in the earlier stages of the round of 8 as well as the round of 16.
So with these two going head-to-head in a PVZ, I'm looking at it thinking, okay, if you look at it on paper, HyuN has it. But we've already learned, I think, our lesson, very hard lesson, that you cannot rely on any statistics, you cannot rely on any history. So I'm going to have to put you on the spot, Nathan, and ask you who's winning this one.
I spoke to HyuN a little bit before.
I thought you were going to say you flipped a coin.
I mean, I had a chance to chat with HyuN. He told me he'd done a lot of research on his opponent. He mentioned his style. I don't know if they got their soundproof headsets. I won't say too much, but HyuN has a pretty good grasp on his style. And knowing HyuN's history with ZVP, I'd almost dare say it's better than his Xur versus Terran. And you know, judging by what happened against Tasia, if HyuN goes in with anywhere near the amount of confidence he came out of that match with, I'm definitely going to side with him.
Okay, I mean, but statistics do play a little part. Alicia's right now, it's his worst matchup. HyuN, it's his best matchup. So if that gives him an edge psychologically, then that helps, obviously. But as I said, we've kind of learned that you can't really put too much stock on anything right now.
No, definitely not. And I think when you look at overall, we kind of talked about Alicia being that PVT expert. Now he has to show us that he's a bit more flexible. He has to, you can't win a championship title on one matchup alone. All the Terran players are gone. So maybe he was hoping Tasia could pull through, but that's just not the case.
So with the Terrans all gone, have you changed over to Zerg?
Yeah, I'm a big
You're now
fan.
a Zerg fanboy.
I'm a big fan of HyuN and Revival in this this Final Four bracket, definitely.
All right, okay. Thank you very much, Nathan. We will hear from Nathan towards the end of this match. We might even check in with him halfway through. Let's see how this one goes. It's a semi-final, ladies and gentlemen, for WCS America, and it's Alicia versus HyuN. The funny man versus the man who's serious. Let's find out who takes the semi-finals and goes through to their first ever WCS final. With your commentary team, they're going to enjoy this one, I think.
Thank you very much, Paul. And for sure, we are. WCS America is live for today, and I would say that WCS America is up for grabs, Jos. We started this tournament with some of the biggest superstars I think we have in the StarCraft 2 scene, some of the absolute most successful players. Now we have our Final Four, and I don't think many of them expected the Final Four to look the way it does.
No, definitely not. Tasia, everybody expected him to win, but HyuN came through in a really big way. And Alicia as well, he's not one of those really well-documented players. He's been around for a very long time, and he's always gotten very good results. But last year, he didn't really deliver the same way he did in 2012. But it seems like with now being in the semifinal, he's back for sure.
Yeah, it's so cool as well, because I spoke quite a bit with Total Biscuit, of course, the team manager from XCM back then at BlizzCon. And he already told me, I was like, how's your boy Alicia doing? He's like, Alicia's good. He's like, Alicia's really good right now. He's like, have you seen him in GSTL? I was like, a few times. He's like, no, trust me, Alicia's doing really good in the house. I was like, okay, that's cool. And I think it's amazing that 2-3 months later, you see Alicia, you know, being close to his biggest success in a very, very long time. And so far, it's been a convincing journey as well. It's not like his tournament life has been on the ropes multiple times. Maybe Game 5 against Bomber, but he has only dropped 3 maps to getting to the semifinals, and that is very impressive.
Yeah, and not to mention, actually not too long ago, last weekend, he took out Revival, who showed some amazing play yesterday as well. So if anything, beating Revival in the current shape, that's if something to go by, then Alicia is definitely ready for this PvZ. But HyuN as well, also kind of a player that, you know, he got to the round of 4 in the last summer numerous times, but then he kind of fell off as well. But it seems like him beating Tasia is also a big statement, and he also seems back in top form. And with that, I feel like normally you cast players and you really know what to expect. But with these two, I feel like anything is possible, and we could see anything. We could see some new builds or macro play. I don't really know. What do you think?
I definitely think we will see a couple of surprising things this best of 5. What I'm not surprised by are the map vetoes. Alicia vetoing Daedalus Point, of course, a very tough map for a Protoss player, and HyuN decides to veto Yangsu, one of the maps that's notorious for strong 2-base pushes. Nathan already touched on this a little bit in the preview of this best of 5, where he said, I spoke some with HyuN. I don't want to go into details, but I feel he has a good grasp on Alicia's playstyle. I did speak with HyuN about it as well. And I mean, actually, let's just wait just to be sure, because there are a couple of speakers in the show, in the studio as well. But we can talk about this. But I do feel that HyuN has a good idea what he wants to do. Either way, Habitation Station, Frost, Polar Night, Altazim, and Heavy Rain is going to be our map order. Jos, your first thoughts?
Well, Habitation Station is very interesting to start off with. Because of the gold base, it kind of creates these crazy special tailored strategies just for that map. And we've seen so many gold-based first from Protoss there with fancy all-ins. And Alicia, traditionally, he has been kind of known to be a timing-based player. And he likes his 2-base pushes. He's very good with those. Against Revival on this map, he did go for the Immortal all-in and just barely won with that. So I think this map is a good start for him. And he's probably got something special planned for this.
It's really funny as well, because if I think of early 2013 Alicia, I think of the Void Ray hit squad. You know, that is something that he was notorious for. He was a big fan of Sentry, Void Ray, heavy compositions. But if you ask me today, you think Alicia is going to bring out a whole lot of Void Rays and Sentries? I'd be like very hesitant to say yes to that. You know, will we see it maybe once on a larger map where he feels he can get time and get that Void Ray number going? Maybe, baby. But you know, I think we're definitely going to see a couple of very strong timings, a couple of strong executed 2-base builds. But you know, we can talk about HyuN for days. I think HyuN is a fantastic story. If I think of two Zergs that are very similar to each other, maybe not necessarily in playstyle, but also a bit to playstyle, but especially career-wise in the story through their career, I always think of HyuN and Revival. I think their story is amazing, how they started up grinding those small online tournaments for recognition over and over again. Every week you could check in at Go for StarCraft 2, a Zotac Cup, a Play-Am, and there was always Revival, there was always HyuN. And I think it's amazing to see that both of those guys that truly started from the bottom are now here.
Indeed they are, and it's really bad news for people who like playing the tournaments in Europe, because HyuN just moved to Europe and he was winning them from Korea before with insane lag, and now he's actually going to play without lag. So I think it's safe to say that I'm probably never going to win a Zotac Cup again because HyuN's just going to sign up every single week. But yeah, it's really nice how hard he's worked. He's just played his game. He really just went into StarCraft with an open mind and practiced really hard, and he's seen great success because of that attitude in particular.
Big shout out to our crowd here on location. Of course, all of the guys have been very nice. We have people from pretty much all over Germany. A couple of people have taken some serious train rides, and there are even quite a few Dutchies in the house other than us, so that's very nice for us. I tried to make some of them bring some Dutch delights like bitterballen, but no one was able to follow through with that. Maybe tomorrow, yes. How amazing would that be?
I would love some bitterballen for sure. They are the best. I'm pretty sure everyone's really confused now. It's a really delicious snack from the Netherlands, and if you ever visit the Netherlands, you should definitely have those because you won't be disappointed.
And you need them with mayonnaise though, guys. That's very important. Either way, we are almost ready for our first series. I think it's going to be a really fun series. Either player can truly take it. HyuN looks ready. I just posted a funny picture on Twitter as well, and I think it's on Reddit even. So some of you guys may or may not have seen it already, but you as a competitive player, did you have like a ritual right before? You've played a lot of high-profile games in your career, you know, played multiple finals back then in Poland, you played an Aces Rock final. Is there anything you always do before a series like that?
Yeah, actually, it's funny because I would play a series, and then right before I would listen to whatever song I was really into at the time.
Eminem Till I Collapse or something?
No, actually, it's really embarrassing, but it was Tayo Cruz.
Which one?
There She Goes. Okay. But I watched it with the video clip, and the video clip is just filled with gorgeous women. Okay. So I'm not sure if it was the music or the clip that was doing it for me, but if I won and I did really well in the tournament, I would keep the song for a long time because I thought the song would help me. But if I lost, I would switch to another song and use that milk that for as long as possible. So
I think those kind of stories are amazing, and the reason why I brought this up, guys, is because I just ran into HyuN in the restroom. You know, that kind of stuff happens, but he actually didn't go to the restroom because he had to. He went to the restroom to brush his teeth. And I was like, HyuN? He's like, hi. He's like full of, you know, he's like, he's doing his thing. I was like, why are you brushing his teeth? He's like, I like it. Feel good. Smile beautiful on camera. I was like, okay. I was like, can I take a picture? He's like, no. I was like, come on. He's like, okay. So apparently HyuN likes to brush his teeth. So if his teeth are shining very bright, if they look white, then you guys know why. Either way, both players are ready. I must say, I love that rainbow keyboard from Alicia as well.
Very colorful.
Must make you happy, you know, if you have like a dark leather day, then you look down and you see all those beautiful colors on your keyboard, you're like, yeah!
Yeah, I guess that can help.
Either way, super big series for both these guys. Neither of them made it to BlizzCon last year, and that was crazy to think about because HyuN did so well in every other tournament than WCS, and of course there were so many points to be earned within WCS. This time, however, he's already further than he's ever been within WCS. Both these guys already securing themselves 750 WCS points, but if you make it to the final, you're gonna get a lot more, and of course prize money as well. Either way, we are live, and over here on the left top side of Habitation Station, we got our Red Protoss player representing Team Axiom. He is Alicia.
All right, and his fearsome opponent, the Blue Zerg player representing Ro8 and South Korea and Spider-Man. It is HyuN.
fearsome he is, and I would also say he's quite unpredictable. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a certain map where he just feels that his opponent might cut a cord and might go Nexus first, no scout, that he busts out in an early pool. That's something he's done multiple times, even early in this tournament as well, and a couple of the ZVZs he played, for instance, against Revival, and you know, that could be a rematch as well. They were in the same group in the round of 32, and now they could both meet up in the final. However, nothing crazy is going to happen over here on game one. Jos, you already touched a little bit on Habitation Station earlier. An excellent map for two-base pushes, correct?
Seems like at least one person out there is enjoying the double Dutch we have going on over here.
The double Dutch sounds really exciting.
The DD.
All right.
But just to talk a little bit about HyuN, he is traditionally one of those players who absolutely loves to get really, really big armies, like lair tech armies, and then just charge at his opponent, and he will not stop. He's like the modern-day July Zerg. He used to just constantly attack, and HyuN is known for that. And I asked him before the game if he's already made the switch to the swarm hosts, because you know, the swarm hosts are the cash money swarm hosts, and if you want to do well in ZVP, looks like actually a very greedy build from Alicia, Nexus first. But no, HyuN actually told me that he still likes to play Roach Hydra and like really big Muta switches. So I think we're gonna see the HyuN that we're all used to, very aggressive play, and for now he's taken the gold with his third hatchery already, no spawning pool. So this is actually a good counter to Alicia's Nexus first.
Yeah. I love what I see over here, Jos, from both players. Alicia shows that he has no fear in game one. He goes Nexus first and he follows it up with a gateway in his base. This is absolutely the most greedy way you could possibly open as a Protoss player. You're susceptible to a lot of crazy early game stuff, but that's not happening. Then again, he unscouted it. He scouted the Nexus first with his drone, and then above all, the Overlord saw the gateway as well. And he's like, all right, well, if you want to play the greed game, I know a thing or two about greedy. I'm a Zerg after all. I'm just gonna go double hatch before pool with one of my hatcheries at the gold. And in my opinion, right now, HyuN is already forcing Alicia to play this game out in a certain way. Because if this is going to be a very long game, Alicia is gonna fight an uphill battle.
Yeah, it's really tricky when the Zerg player has the gold, because he could just saturate that very fast, and then all of a sudden you don't really have that knowledge that you normally do, like how many minerals does my opponent have right now, how many units can he bust out with right now in my base. And if you don't do anything about it, and HyuN gets a full round of drones with 3 injects on that gold base, then all of a sudden then you might be overwhelmed by a ton of units and you might be left a little bit confused.
I am a little bit surprised as well by the fact that, you know, HyuN is still going to delay his extractors for quite a bit. And of course, if you want to go double hatch, then it makes no sense to also drop your gas very quick, because then you kind of cripple your own economy. But you're going to have to worry a little bit, no? Soon the first Stalker will be out. Warp Gate technology is on the way. You can produce a lot of slow links, and of course slow links won't trade well against Zealot, Stalker, Stalker. This is a really good pickoff. Okay, the Zealot is safe for now, but eventually will most likely fall. There was a Stalker out on the map as well, which changed his course. Then it went back again. Good start here for HyuN. That's so nice to get rid of that Zealot.
Yeah, that Stalker is still going to be quite annoying for the slow Zerglings, but a lot less scary than a Stalker, Zealot, and later on a Mothership Core. But because Alicia went for the Nexus first, that also means that his Warp Gate will be a lot later. And I think that's why HyuN is totally fine with dropping his gases right now at 6 minutes. Pretty late, but for now we do see actually 3 more gateways. So there might be a little bit of aggression from Alicia, and HyuN will have to be careful. He's just made 11 drones. Oh, there's the Forge. Actually, I've seen Alicia done this before, and this is also something that's popular in Europe, and Patience started doing this a lot. I think that he's just going to get the +1, then take a fast third base, and then drop the Twilight, get a really fast +2, and from there he can start adding variety once again in his build. He could go Blink, all in with a lot of gateways, or you could still add a Robo and play a more standard style.
So you think Alicia, who's actually going to find an Overlord over here in the middle of the map, which is going to heavily supply block HyuN for a little while, even though there are Overlords on the production tab. You truly think that Alicia is going to go up to 3 bases with the desire to saturate those 3 bases? Because I feel then he's given an insane amount of time for HyuN to truly profit of that gold base.
Yeah, I think maybe Alicia thinks that because of the gold base, he might not be able to punish it, because HyuN's already been mining from there for quite a bit, so the money really adds up. And upon scouting Alicia's base, HyuN decides to go for the 6 gases. He's seen the Forge, he's seen the double geysers on the natural, so I think he knows that he's not going to be under any type of pressure anytime soon. This little poke though with the sentries, Is there? There has to be a Mothership.
Yeah, he
with the
just
Mothership
made
core,
it.
he could fake damage.
Yeah, he just made it. The Mothership Core floating over here in the middle of the map, but the Mothership Core doesn't even have energy yet for a recall. It will have in the near future. The good thing that Alicia is doing right now, guys, is it might not seem like a big deal, but he's carrying HyuN a little bit, because as a Zerg player, as long as you have control of that Xel'Naga Watchtower, you feel life is good and beautiful. The moment you don't have vision, it's like, I'm pretty sure there's nothing, right? Like I scouted what I saw before, and you know, there shouldn't really be something. But you rather be sure, and the Mothership Core just keeps HyuN in the dark a little bit.
Yeah, and HyuN's got 10 roaches on the way. Roach speed being started, speed for the Zerglings upgrade on the way. And looks like Alicia for now will poke a little bit with that safety recall that he does have, but he will now spot the roaches, so he wisely backs off. And with the amount of units that HyuN is already producing, we can really see that he's the guy who likes to attack. He's got 6 more roaches, and he's going to try to bust the third base. And this might be tricky for Alicia to hold on to.
I find this kind of stuff very hard to defend as a Protoss player. Yes, you're going to have a cannon, but it's not like he opened a Stargate, so there won't be a Void Ray. And robotics facility has just been wiped in. He's going to have to defend this with good force fields, a Photon overcharge, and a few Blink Stalkers in the near future. But we all know that HyuN is excellent as well, even though he's supply blocked again. And if you look at his money right now, guys, 600-700 minerals, that is a painful supply block. When you want to do pressure like this, I think this is almost a devastating supply block.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's because of the supply block, but he does drop down the Spire, so it looks like he's gonna have attack with this army and then switch to Mutas. But here we go, actually he charges in and there's only 1 cannon there.
Yeah, actually Alicia is going to be more than fine, because there are not enough units that I think, or not as many units as HyuN could have possibly had. A couple of good force fields go down. Zerglings get zoned out from these roaches. The roaches start working on the Nexus, and this might be successful after all for Alicia, but he's going to have to be very careful for a counterattack if he loses all of these units over here.
Yeah, actually all the roaches are going down, but the Nexus, will it fall? Oh my god, it's so close. Yes, it does go down, but that was a lot of units lost for almost nothing killed. So now what can Alicia do? He's got 2 more gates on the way.
You go for it.
He's got +2 on the way. Yeah, I don't see him remaking this Nexus. And with the Spire transition and 2 drones in the way, HyuN, you have to be careful. You need mass roach right now. You need mass units, because this counterattack is so scary.
Yeah, if I was Alicia right now, I'd go all out. When the supplies are even and you have +2 Blink Stalkers, you're doing very good. HyuN made a lot of Speedlings. That is very smart, because those Speedlings can, you know, pretend there will be some pressure, or can pretend there will be a serious issue for Alicia to worry about when there isn't. However, it seems like I was wrong, and Alicia is going to rebuild this base, and I think this is everything that HyuN possibly could have wished for, because he traded Lings and Roaches, which are not very expensive, but if you have no other units, they are crucial. However, right now Alicia is giving HyuN the time to get that Mutalisk count out.
Yeah, and HyuN's just moving his army a little bit around, trying to fake aggression perhaps, keep Alicia on his toes, and he will now, once he gets these mutas, he can start really doing multi-pronged attacks in the main and then at the third with his ground force. And that's the way HyuN loves to play. He's been playing CVP like this for so long. He was doing this in Wings of Liberty.
And then go for StarCraft 2 days.
Yeah, exactly. And he's very good with this double-pronged attack. And the mutas now are on the way to the main base, or gathering outside the gold. Will soon hit the main base, and Alicia's going to have to try very hard to defend. There's only 1 cannon and 2 stalkers in the main right now. I don't think that's enough.
He doesn't have a whole lot of observers either. Observers can be crucial in defending against Muta Ling, because it's going to give you some vision, some extra time to react. Here comes that first Muta flock, and a couple of probes will fall immediately. More stalkers being warped in. The fact that he already has Blink Stalkers with +2, that is something, but if you only defend, you're going to have a very hard time, you know, because with Stalkers, it's okay to defend against 14 to, you know, let's say 10 to 15 Mutalisks, but if that Mutaball grows to 25 to 30, then it's almost impossible not to take damage. However, very good Stalker positioning here by Alicia. I don't understand why HyuN is even trying to trade. That made no sense to me. 5 Mutas already fall.
Yeah, that was not a good trade for him, but I'm still worried for Alicia. He just now drops his first Stargate, and all he's going to have for a long time is just Blink Stalkers, and HyuN's already on 8 gas. He's getting so much income right now. His supply is through the roof. He can start attacking, maybe combining his armies and just attack at once. Alicia's always going to have to leave some units behind. It looks like HyuN is grouping up to do a big attack.
That observer is crucial though. Good force fields here by Alicia. Mutalisk will idle above the sentries, and a couple of these sentries will fall. I still think that Alicia is going to be fine over here, especially with those cannons helping out a little bit. He loses a few of his sentries, but look at that Stalker Ball. That Stalker Ball is getting pretty huge, and he's only at 128 supply, already 21 Stalkers.
Yeah, he did not go for the +3 weapon, so he will be at +2 for a while. But HyuN, on the other hand, he's at 1-1, which is acceptable. But now Alicia is pushing out of the map, and the Stalkers at the top are caught out of position. He will lose Nah, he only loses 2 of them so far.
Yeah.
3.
3 in the long run, maybe 4 even. That Immortal's out of position as well, but brilliant Warp Prism positioning like Funkadelic. Our dedicated observers showed us that the Warp Prism being out of range, HyuN is going to wonder where these Zealots come from. This is fantastic for Alicia.
Yeah, great job sneaking that Warp Prism into the main. HyuN did see it coming, but I guess he just missed it on the minimap because he was busy defending. But still, HyuN still has a huge army and tons of mutas, 21 now. But Alicia will press forward. The Stalkers blink up to the high ground.
This is bizarre though. Normally, this is like ZVT, defending with Mutalisks. This is not what's supposed to happen in this matchup. Normally Mutalisks are on the other side of the map. Right now HyuN is actually the player that's defending. It would have been absolutely fantastic for Alicia to have a Python on the south side of the map. This could be a little tricky though. Stalkers are good, but there are a lot of Zerglings in the mix. And this Muta flock is big. It's going to go for the Warp Prism. That's a good decision by HyuN. And I think that Alicia overextended a little bit there.
Yeah, huge surround on creep with that many Zerglings against Stalkers. Not enough Zealots, no force fields to really push that back. And now Alicia is in a world of trouble. He's dropping down 100 supply. The mutas are cleaning up the rest of the Stalkers. And HyuN's just got nothing but mutas and Zerglings on the way. He's going to keep attacking until Alicia quits this game. And I don't think Alicia can do anything about it.
Beautiful macro by HyuN. It started off with a few Mutalisks, but before we knew it, even though a couple of them did fall in the process, the Mothership Core will get Photon Overcharge down. That Muta flock grew to almost 30. If you combine those 30 Mutalisks with a couple of Zerglings, especially on creep, then they are going to trade pretty damn well against Stalkers, even if those Stalkers have 2-1 upgrades. GG is called, and HyuN will win this first pretty exciting game on Habitation Station.
Yeah, typical HyuN style. He wins the first game. A little bit of a rough game for Alicia, who I feel like if he would have attacked after that Nexus would have went down, HyuN would have been just transitioning to mutas, and he would have had a great chance. But after that decision to remake the third and then not getting the scout information he needed on the Spire, he had no Stargates. All he had was Blink Stalkers, and that decision to pressure HyuN was not the best one, but you can't really fault him for doing that, because if he does stay in his base for Phoenix, that is so much time for HyuN, and the Muta Ball would have gotten so big. So
I felt he was actually doing quite okay with just the Stalkers for the longest time, but I think where it kind of went wrong is when he stood on creep, and he had a couple of Stalkers on the high ground as well, because I mean, you know, a Protoss player that's able to sneak a Warp Prism across the map and actually get Zealots in the main that A, kill a lot of drones, B, even kill a spawning pool and force all the units from HyuN out of position. That is fantastic normally, because you have breathing room as a Protoss player. However, being on creep is just, it's deadly. It really is, especially against a guy like HyuN who just produces an ungodly amount of units.
Yeah, and HyuN did produce an ungodly amount of units in that game. He didn't go above 69 drones, and that really shows how the gold plays can influence games, because he just didn't need as many drones to get the same amount of income he normally needs. But the second map is going to be Frost. What are your thoughts on this map, PVZ, Kev?
I think it's an awesome map. I think that everybody loves Frost. It's not a map that I, as a player, I am particularly good at, but I think it's just a cool map. It often creates exciting games. I am praying or crossing my fingers for a cross-map scenario, because I really love the clash of the styles that we saw in that first game. I am happy that we didn't see an uninspiring, very obvious two-base all-in on Habitation Station. No, we saw Alicia be like pretty confident, you know. He's like gonna open up with a few gateways, a greedy opening, but then he's like, you take the gold base, I'll just go up to 3 bases, and I love that. And I think that is the type of PvZ that we all enjoy seeing.
Yeah, and Alicia did show in that game that he's not afraid to go into the macro game with HyuN. And the last game he played on Frost was against Revival, also a PvZ. You were casting that one, and he also went for a third base. He actually did the same build he did in the last game. I think also what you said, the cross position is good for this map, but if it is horizontal positions, swarm hosts become insane.
Yeah. If I've seen Snoot, one of the players that was here for WCS Europe, play a couple of his ZVPs. The creep spread combined with, you know, well-calculated greed by the Zerg player, it can be absolutely devastating. So that's why I kind of hope for cross-map, because indeed, if it's horizontal, a well-executed swarm host push, you know, I've seen things as crazy as creep knocking on the third base of the Protoss player like 11 minutes, 30 seconds with swarm hosts, spore crawlers and vipers, right? And a bunch of queens. This is like, well, you know, what is very good against this? I might as well just 2-base all in.
Was that one of your games?
No, no, that was Snoot versus Minigun actually. I'm sorry, Chad, if you're watching and I brought that game up. I'm sure that's not one of the.
I'm sure he's trying to forget about it as much as possible.
That was a painful one. But Minigun is awesome. We all know that, so it's okay. For every 10 good games he plays, he has one game like that. Either way, we're gonna have to rehost the second game real quick, as one of our players spawned as Terran, and
as you can see, Alicia made his debut into Code A in March 2011. So that's now 3 years in the running as a competitive StarCraft player, and that shows that this guy, even though he might not be as known as his opponent, he does have a ton of experience playing at the highest level, playing in the GSTL, playing in the GSL, playing in the MLGs. He played tons of MLGs. I think he got second place.
Yep, in a really big one back then. I believe he lost in the final against Dongre Gu, but that was an amazing run. That was in the same year where I think he also got a second place at the North American Startic, or maybe that was 2012. He also had a second place. You know, Alicia was known for a while to collect a few second places here and there, which is of course always unfortunate, but it's super impressive nevertheless. And the same can be said for HyuN, who also collected a couple of second places last year. For instance, at the Home Story Cup, second place at also MLG Anaheim for HyuN when he lost in the final against Bolt. But it just shows that both these guys have been around for a long time and have been posting consistent results, and that's really impressive.
Yeah, and it actually took HyuN a surprisingly long time until he did win that DreamHack Valencia. But that's now also getting quite a long time ago. So I'm sure HyuN, he wants nothing more. He just decided he's going to be full-time StarCraft in Europe with MC, Yoda, and First. And actually,
that's a pretty
MC was
team.
telling me that they have a schedule, and they are actually dedicatedly practicing 10 hours a day. Just like the Korean team houses. So these guys are not coming to Europe to slack off, have a vacation, have a good time. No, they're here because they mean business.
And business has all been for both these guys so far in WCS America 2014 Season 1. Our red Protoss player spawning on the left top side of Frost, representing Team Axiom, is Alicia.
And currently he's up 1-0, possibly the most aggressive Zerg player in the world that I've ever seen at least. It's the blue Zerg, it's HyuN.
And this is quite interesting, Jos, as we were mentioning cross positions, we were mentioning horizontal positions, but it's the other way. We're going to play vertical on Frost. What are your thoughts as an expert Zerg player if you spawn at a vertical location against the Protoss on Frost?
Yeah, I think this is a little bit of a mix of both. Like, you are still reasonably close to your opponent, but the Protoss player in this position can take the further away third base. But as a Zerg player, you can spread creep rather fast up the left side and the right side. So I think Swarmos are still rather powerful, but I'm not sure HyuN's going to go for that in these positions. I think this is... I don't think this is really favorable towards either race. It's... wow, look at that.
It's a 14 pool opening this time by HyuN, and I won't be surprised at all if we see 6 to 8 links being produced, which of course is going to slow his economy down a little bit. But if Alicia goes for that same build, Nexus first on the low ground with a gateway in your base, then those links are so annoying to deal with.
Yeah, and Alicia actually did this as well against Revival the first 2 games.
Sorry to interrupt. Oh, so smart by both players. I love it. I think that HyuN would have definitely not revealed his Overlord if he saw the Nexus, because of course the Overlord has more vision. But Alicia, just knowing when that Overlord is supposed to arrive, sends that probe down and spots the Overlord. Small things that matter, but this is awesome, because otherwise, you know, there's a big chance that Alicia scouts HyuN last, and then he would have never known about his early pool.
Yeah, now he's going to know exactly what's coming, and HyuN so far only 2 links on the way. So he probably saw the probe, but he knew he was going to get scouted, and he's like, well, nah, I'm not going to make 10 links because it's not going to be surprising anymore. But still, the gateway is pretty late, so it might have done well. But for now, yeah, HyuN's not doing anything special. He's just going to go up to 3 bases. We'll actually have to see if he's still going to take his gases equally late. I think he will, because with the cybernetics core later, also the warp gate later, and actually, HyuN moves his drone towards the third base closer to Alicia. What do you think about that?
It's funny as well, because he did the exact same thing when he played, I believe, against Tasia on the first map here on Frost, and I was watching that series with Snoot, and Snoot is like, he's expanding towards the Terran. He's like, I wonder. He's like, it could be smart because your reinforcements are a lot closer, but of course that base is more susceptible to either pressure or just big all-ins as well.
And against Protoss, I feel like there's even another dimension to that, because in the position right next to HyuN's third base, I feel like force fields are quite strong. And of course it is closer, and with that position, I feel like Alicia, if you were to attempt something like an Immortal all-in or maybe a 2-base all-in with a lot of sentries, he could do really well in these positions.
We will see. Alicia definitely capable of executing something like that up to the absolute highest level. But also shown us that he's very comfortable in playing macro games, and he won the macro game he played earlier in this tournament against Revival. I think a player with a relatively similar style to HyuN. HyuN maybe a little more aggressive, Revival a little quicker on the Swarm host, but neither of them is a turtly Swarm host player. And this is a very fast Twilight Concept. That's much quicker than in the previous game. So it could be a big 2-base blink attack.
I actually saw Alicia. Actually, Alicia's playing like the same way he did against Revival.
Yeah,
he went for
DTs, yes,
on this map. And how did it do in that game? I skipped that part.
It was really sick because Revival did not see it, but he saw the pylons go down, and then Revival just put the pieces in the right place, and he's like, I think I'm playing against DT. So he got sports in every game, and the DTs did absolutely 0 damage, but Alicia still won the game.
Well, HyuN, for now, he's under a little bit of pressure with a Stalker and a Zealot. He actually is making 8 links, so he's going to be fine against this. Also brings down his queens, but he does not know yet that there is a much bigger danger lurking around the corner. Actually, a sentry and 2 more gates on the ways. There's no Dark Shrine yet. I guess he's busy microing because he probably does want to make that Dark Shrine. There is an Overlord right next to Alicia's main base that might have to fly in.
But it is going to be Blink after all.
Surprising.
Never second guess me, Jos.
Yeah, I guess.
No, you're spot on because he did the exact same thing earlier. And with a Twilight that quick, I'm a little bit surprised that he went for
Was there Zergling in the main? Yeah.
Yes. There was, so he actually already knows. If he wouldn't have seen it with the Overlord.
I guess that just sneaked in while Alicia was pressuring the 3rd base. So now HyuN sees everything, and he reacts by getting Speedlings and 20 Zerglings. So he might think that this is the kind of really, really quick all-in where you don't get sentries, you just get pure Blink Stalkers. But he does see the Forge now as well, and actually a Robo on the way as well. So I'm not sure this is even going to be an all-in anymore. Alicia might just try to take a fast 3rd base, because what's that Robo going to add to his attack?
But then I'm still a little surprised. Maybe an Observer and a Warp Prism. I know it's quite the investment, but it does make your pushes a lot stronger. But I think you're right. I think it's very possible that Alicia is just going to go up to 3 bases. I'm still surprised that he went 1 gate Twilight. You know, it doesn't really add up. Maybe he just changed his mind as well. That's possible. We can't possibly read his mind. So we will see. Mothership Core gets the scout off. Saw the extractors were not taken yet.
But here's the proxy pylon and 3 extra gateways. So also 3 more sentries. That's an interesting place for a pylon, though. I wonder from which angle he is planning to attack, considering there's no base on that side of the map. But of course, always useful to have a pylon on that position. And HyuN, he's getting his lair, he's getting his extra gases, he's got a lot of speedling pressure, and he's already getting spines, so he smells something is coming.
It's really funky though, because he has an observer, now he's making another observer. I don't really understand why, if you want to go for a push like this, you make double observer. That makes me still think he wants to go 3 bases then.
Yeah. This is just the most confusing game ever. At least I am predicting this wrong all the time. But I guess that's really good for Alicia, because that means he's a very unpredictable Protoss player, and those are the scariest types of Protoss players, in my opinion.
It's not just us, though, because if you look at the work account of HyuN, normally a player like HyuN won't have 54 drones in this phase in the game, especially not with those quick 3 hatcheries. Just now HyuN squeezing out 12 more drones on the production tab, like Funkadelic is showing us once more. Much love to our brother Funka, who's sitting in his cage upstairs doing some excellent observing throughout the entire tournament.
Yeah, it's actually incredible how well he stays focused through these long days. Hardly misses anything. HyuN now, he has added the Hydralisk Den. So I think that we're going to see a lot of Hydras and a lot of possibly Lings and big attack and possibly a Muta Switch again later. But that Overseer does get taken out by Alicia. And he's got a nice little sentry army, really. It's going to build up so much energy.
This is going to be really interesting because, of course, you know, on paper, Hydro-Link does excellent against gateway units. But it all comes down to the force fields. And a player like Alicia has shown us in the past already, he can win those type of battles where you're like, hey, that Zerg army looks pretty okay against the Protoss army. But, you know, if force fields are good enough and you just don't take any damage from Ling run-bys, like something that is maybe perhaps about to happen, he could land some really good force fields as well. Alicia knows about it already. He's hoping that HyuN is going to slip up. But HyuN not committing to anything just yet. Robo Bay goes down right now. And with that Robo Bay, this is going to be so interesting, Jos, because either Hydro-Link is going to trade very well, or it's going to be so-so, and then HyuN is in a lot of trouble, because this is 11 minutes, 30 seconds, and no sign of a hive just yet.
No, and there's the Hydra speed as well, the double upgrades, the Roach Warren is coming in, so typical HyuN, he's going to go with those lair type units, and the War Prism actually makes its way towards HyuN's natural. It does get spotted. But so far, what's HyuN doing to prepare? He's not really moving any units in position.
I'm a little worried for HyuN.
Hydras.
And we also see the infestation pit. I mean, this Warp Prism won't do too much. It's important for Alicia that he keeps it alive. And we're actually going to take a small look at Alicia's first-person view, seeing the beauty of a Protoss player.
Yeah, let's see those beautiful A moves.
Hey, hey, hey. More like that intense multitasking and...
oh, the Warp Prism actually dies. That's bad news for Alicia. And as you can see, HyuN's constantly scouting with Overseers. Alicia will kill that.
Both players so active, though.
Yeah, it looks like Alicia is really playing towards the aggressive image the whole game long. He keeps moving forward. And HyuN might think he's going to be attacked anytime soon, but now there's Colossus range on the way. And actually, once again, Alicia gets charged very, very early.
Which is awesome, because he still has that pilot in the right bottom side of the map. And the moment that HyuN decides to move out, 4 or 5 charge loss can really mess him up. We did see the Hive go down. We see 13 Roaches on the production tab. I do feel that HyuN wants to make a big fight before Vipers, don't you? I mean, then again, it's a little bit of an anti-timing. But I feel if he waits much longer, Alicia's army is going to be pretty damn big. And do you really want to put all your eggs in one basket, as HyuN likes to say, on one big Roach Hydra Viper attack?
Yeah, I think it's kind of tricky with the Roach Hydra Viper. Like, it either works really, really well and you pull all the Colossus and you win the game and it looks awesome, or there are 3 Templars and everything gets feedback. But for now, it looks like these Lings will get chased away from that Watchtower. And Alicia's just doing an awesome job controlling his side of the map with that Mothership Core, giving him that extra safety.
That one happy Roach did find 5-6 Zealots will be wiped in, and this poor
That's
Roach is
dead Roach.
And that Roach is, he did get a lot of hogs from those Zealots, though. Those are pretty peaceful Zealots. They just do damage by accident.
They just want to hug you, but they end up killing you instead.
Yeah, because they got the side blades, they got no fingers. They tried to hog. Good guy Zealot. Bad luck, Brian. Either way, Alicia is, I think, pretty okay to defend against this. HyuN is setting up a flank, but if the force fields are good enough, I think Alicia should be okay over here. There's just one Colossus in the army, but that one Colossus is going to push out so much damage. Photon Overcharge goes down, a lot of force fields being casted, a Time Warp goes down. I think this is going really okay for Alicia so far.
Yeah, this is great for Alicia. He catches all the Hydras on the left side, the Photon Overcharge deals with the right side, and those sentries who have so much energy, they really helped out with those force fields. Now, +3 is on the way. There's a second Colossus and 23 Hydras as well. But considering the Zealots already have charge, there's already Colossus, he's going to need Vipers. You can't make drones right now. HyuN, what are you doing? He does have great creep spread, so if Alicia overextends here, he might actually be surrounded on this creep spread. He has to be careful. Looks like he will go back and wait for more Colossus once again.
The only thing that kept HyuN safe there is his creep spread. If there's no creep, Alicia is going to march forward, he's going to move forward, he's going to walk across the map, and he's going to take a favorable fight. Right now, he's a little worried. He's like, it's creep. For instance, a big swell of Roaches. Imagine if all those Hydras were Roaches, and this army would be on creep. The Roaches can just swarm that army. It's funny how there are just Stalkers chasing down Overlords all around the map. But we do have those 3 Vipers in production right now. However, I still feel that was a fantastic fight for Alicia. And if we take a look at the units lost resource tab, well, that pretty much tells the tale of this story. What an amazing positioning by Alicia, and just excellent force fields. The Mothership Core did its job. Everything went well.
And there are 3 Vipers on the way, but as you can see, the Templar Archives finished as well. So Alicia will be able to get those very needed Templars to feed back the Vipers. Will scout once again and take his 4th base. And HyuN, he's once again moving into the middle with a huge army.
Yeah, he brought his Queens this time as well. Where are those Vipers, though? That's what I wonder about, because without those Vipers, there is no way Jose. He's getting a little bit of energy. He will be able to abduct a few, but look at Alicia's supply. If all of his Colossus won't get abducted, he has 3 of them, that Immortal stays alive, he should be more than fine.
Yeah, he's got the +3 as well, almost done. Storm on the way, and HyuN actually, with those Roaches distracting and now going in for the big fight with the Vipers moving in, and there are no Templars to be seen, and 3 Colossus get pulled, and 2 of them get taken out. No, just 1.
Yeah, they got abducted, but the Stalkers provided a lot of cover. 1 Colossus will fall, but there are charge dots on the south side of the map. Alicia will survive this big push by HyuN. I think that was very well done, because the Colossus were so far back that even when they got abducted, it's not like they were in the middle of the Zerg army. No, they were still on reasonable distance, which allowed Alicia to micro those Colossus back, and only losing 1 of them, which is so important against Hydras.
Yeah, and Alicia has done such a good job as well with the counter harass. How many drones have died for HyuN? 13. So that's really, really good. And now HyuN, he's still stuck on Roach Hydra Viper. Alicia now knows about the Vipers, obviously, and he should really get Templars for the next engagement. He's got the +3 on the Stalkers. He still's got a Colossus. He still has a lot of those sentries, and now he's on 4 base, and he's looking so scary.
Yeah, so much patience by Alicia this game. I love it. A lot of people were predicting a pretty aggressive Alicia, 2-base Alicia. He was hyper aggressive in his games against Bomber, but so far in this series, he's showing us the complete opposite. He's sitting back and he's relying on his excellent army control. He's doing pretty much everything right. He's active with a few units out on the map. He's denying creep whenever he can, and he's building up an army that's capable of defeating a Roach, Hydra, Viper army. And I think there are so many Zerg players out there sitting at home right now saying, and this is why I don't play Roach, Hydra, or Viper, because if Protoss plays it like this, it almost doesn't work.
Looks like a really big engagement once again, about to have a nice angle from HyuN coming in from outside. Once again, the Vipers pull the Colossus. This time they get way further back pulled, and now they die very fast. And now Roach Hydra against Stalker Immortal, and this is going very well for HyuN. And somehow he just destroys Alicia there. The 4th base does get taken out, but HyuN still has so many units left.
I think still he should be okay with all these Blink Stalkers, with one more Colossus coming in, as HyuN took a lot of economic damage during that fight, but indeed a much better fight. He has excellent upgrades as well, but so does he, Alicia, as he is 3-1-2. 3-2 is about to finish up. The feedbacks were just a little too late to the party. Alicia's supply is still surprisingly low. It's amazing how HyuN is able to muster out so many units. I guess HyuN has one final push left inside of him. He's gonna have to bring everything. The biggest problem is he doesn't have any creep anymore connecting to that 4th base. So as it was. That was a dream engagement for HyuN. Beautiful concave, Protoss army was trapped, Colossus went down immediately. It's gonna have to be like that if he wants to stand a chance in the next fight.
Yeah, he's just getting a little bit more energy for those Vipers, but I really feel like with that 4th base going down, he really doesn't have much staying power in this game, and he's still on Roach Hydra, and Alicia is just getting so rich right now. He's got so much income, he's got so many probes, he's on 80 probes to 71. This is not the way ZVP is supposed to look like, and actually he's got so many that his max army might be a little bit less big, which might not be good, but now he has how many Templars? 4 of them. He's got Storm, still has 28 Stalkers.
Are you worried about those 48 Roaches with Thunder and Claws?
Not against +3 Stalkers, I think, but HyuN here, what a nice blinding cloud.
That's actually very sick. Feedback being used as well in a few of these Vipers, and one more Colossus coming in. I still have a hard time believing that this Roach Hydra army can kill the Protoss player. However, those are 2 excellent up dogs, and these Blink Stalkers are going to have to do the job right now. And not a very good blinding cloud. He might be able to get the 4th base over here.
Yeah, those were amazing blinding clouds in such a good position. And remember, this is actually 3-3 Roach Hydra, so very well upgraded as well. He targets down the Nexus. I think that the Blink Stalkers will be able to push this back, but taking out that Nexus is really, really good considering Alicia is so low on minerals. And HyuN will fight even more with these Roach Hydra and these Queens transfusing. And this is, he will lose these units, but there are reinforcements on the way. And in supply, it's still looking really good for HyuN.
What an awesome game. What an awesome back and forth game. Just when you feel that an army is not supposed to work anymore, somehow HyuN makes something work. And if you look at the supply right now, Alicia is going to step on creep. This is the only observer he has, by the way, guys, and that is crucial. I would love to see. HyuN doesn't have a whole lot of anti-air right now because he lost most of his Hydras. Well, he has 10. I would love to see 1 or 2 overseers being added. If he snipes his observer, that would be awesome. I believe that was the accidental Swarm host. This is not a Swarm host switch, guys. Don't worry. This is how shall we name him?
Johnny.
Johnny. All right, we'll see what Johnny will be able to achieve this game. However, sniping that 4th base is crucial, because if you take a look at the main base of Alicia, that one has to be empty. If you take a look at the natural, this is 24 minutes, guys. It's pretty much empty. So right now, Alicia went from awesome to, hey, I only have one mining base.
Yeah, and this is now looking a little bit rough for Alicia, but at the same time, HyuN is also running out on those bases. He hasn't secured a 5th base yet. There we go, he drops it down. His creep spread has been denied a little bit. Alicia's army, if he gets those feasts back, is still really scary, and HyuN now has 2 overseers. So like you said earlier, if he snipes the observer,
and then those Tunneling Claw Roaches can be pretty damn scary. Because also, if you take a look at the army of Alicia, I mean, yes, Stalkers can do well against Roaches, but especially not on creep. There's not a single Immortal in that unit composition. Storms will land though, excellent feedbacks. This was not the engagement, I think, of the start of the fight that HyuN was looking for, but maybe, just maybe, he's still able to make it work.
Yeah, Roaches are just so strong. They're not dying fast enough, and the Hydra's doing a lot of damage, and he uses his supply advantage so well. And
oh my god.
These Stalkers, though, they are also pulling through quite a bit. This is actually real close, but Also a roach attack on the third base, and HyuN 24 roaches reinforcing. And actually using the burrow there, I guess he did get the observer, so that's really nice. But Alicia now losing all his probes at his third base, and this is looking really, really, really rough for him now.
Wow, I didn't feel that was the engagement that HyuN was looking for at all. Those feedbacks went off immediately, and Storm landed as well, so there were no blinding clouds this fight. But somehow, some way, HyuN is making it work. These roaches going to town on all the probes in that third base. Very interesting, fun, action-packed ZVP over here. A couple of probes being misrallied. They are going to fall as well. These roaches are going to stand on top of the Colossus, on top of the High Templars and Stalkers. And GG is called. Rockets HyuN takes a 2-0 lead, while at times things looked very dicey over here on Frost.
Yeah, very well done by him. And if I was in his position in that game, I'm not sure I would have stick with the Roach Hydra, because normally Templar Colossus does really, really well against Viper Roach Hydra, but he just went with that the whole game, and I feel like maybe that works for him a lot, because otherwise I guess he wouldn't be playing like that. The creep spread was really, really nice. It really helped them with a lot of the big engagements, like when Alicia came over the left side of the map. It was all creep, like a full surround with Roach Hydra, and he really got a ton of damage done there. Alicia, though, he played well, and I kind of feel like in that game, he probably also thinks like, hey, I should have won that one, so that's a little bit rough for him. And now HyuN is up 2-0, and he's going to have to win 3 in a row. It's a very difficult task.
Very difficult against a crazy Zerg like HyuN. I think he hit the nail on the coffin there. I think it went wrong for Alicia, and we complimented him for his patience when he went via that left side. That wasn't a true 200 supply Protoss army. It was close. I think he just like wanted to deny some creeps, scare HyuN, but then HyuN was actually there with his entire army. He's like, all right. The Zealots did a fantastic job on the south side of the map, but he lost that fight pretty decisively. And normally, as a Protoss player, if you have Colossus, if you have Storm, if you have 4 bases as well, and I think you can see it at Alicia's face a little bit. He's like, that truly was my game. You're not supposed to lose anymore to Roach Hydra or Viper.
Yeah, and also on that map, at the 4th base, the position right next to the Nexus, next to the rocks, as you can see, that blinding cloud did so amazing. Like, there was really nowhere for those units to go where they could really shoot, because the Nexus is like a giant force field and there's a blinding cloud on top. You can't really go around, and that really worked wonders for HyuN. But we're getting ready to go into the next map, which is Polar Night. Do you have any special thoughts about this map, Kevin?
I think it's a tricky map as a Protoss player, but some Protoss players are quite good at it as well. Alicia has shown us multiple times that he's not afraid to macro, and he's doing it damn well, but I think that we are going to see some 2-base action over here, but we can't be for sure. The red Protoss player on the north side of the map, representing Axiom Gaming, is down 0-2. Will he have what it takes to win 3 in a row? He is. Alicia.
And his opponent playing very well so far, showing that he is definitely the Roach King of all time. It is the Blue Zerg. It is HyuN. With his fresh teeth, ready to play some more StarCraft games.
During that last engagement on Frost, Red, you said something that I'm going to quote you on for a long time. You said, these roaches are just too strong.
Yeah.
It was music to my ears.
I know that you've been saying that roaches are OP for the longest time. I can't believe that they're only 75 minerals and 25 gas. And they're as good as a Stalker, right? Or better.
Your words, not mine.
I've heard this so many times from you, but in that game, it definitely felt like those roaches had some magic powers, because my roaches never do that well, but HyuN makes it work. And also, getting the 3-3 really fast, I think, really helped. Like, normally with that style, you don't really have the double Evo. You normally have the 1 Evo, but having the 3-3 really gave those roaches the extra armor they needed. And then with the burrow as well, really something that we haven't seen that much in HOTS, someone play a late game CVP like that. It's really cool that now, over a year after, we still see like new stuff that surprises us, even though we watch so much StarCraft.
Yeah, and how often do you see Blinding Cloud being that important in a PvZ? Like, sometimes you see, one fight Blinding Cloud being used, but the majority of the time, when the blinding clouds are used, it's like already like a devastating Protoss army that is not going to die anymore. But this was an absolute perfect scenario for blinding cloud to be used. Either way, guys, a super important game here for Alicia. HyuN scouted. He saw the gateway first, and this is not Nexus first into gateway, guys. He saw gateway first, yet he's going double hedge before pool. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? I think this is crazy.
I think this is pretty good, but if he once again goes for the spawning pool and doesn't take his gas like he has been doing, he could really be in a lot of trouble against a fast 4-gate or something like that. And I think if he takes the gas, this is totally fine, because you get the speed, you can deny the pylons. But Alicia now will see the late pool, and we have to see how he wants to react. Actually, he doesn't scout for the pool. He goes with the drone. He might want to try to block the third base. I guess he's just going to go over to the third base and find it anyways. But he's ready to drop his Nexus, and so far he's only on 1 gas, so he's got all the possibilities to do a very heavy Zealot attack, which is going to be very scary for him.
I would love to see him go with a Mothership Core and Zealot, or he goes with a few Stalkers, because guys, Stalkers can kite slow Zerg. It's going to be close with this Overlord. I actually think he's going to get that Overlord. And this is crazy because you don't get a whole lot of Overlords on Polar Knight. But this one I believe he is going to get. And that is fantastic news.
Yeah, really, really great start. Not only does he supply block HyuN, but HyuN can no longer go into the main base. And HyuN's only seen 1 gas, but now the second gas gets dropped. HyuN will be able to keep an eye on the front, what's being built there. But so far this...
Crouching probe, hidden pylon.
That is a sneaky, sneaky probe.
How many gates will Alicia drop at the front? I would like to see at least 2. But if he goes for 3, I wouldn't be too sad either. But now we see a sentry behind this as well, so maybe he won't. Maybe he's pretending that he's going to do what so many Protoss players do when they scout this. Either way, that hatch is taking some serious damage. There are a lot of slow links in position. HyuN even producing a drone right now. It's going to take a little while, though, before the Queens will be able to connect with that third hatchery.
Yeah.
I am very surprised that... Okay, now we see the 2 gateways being added. I guess it will still line up with warp gate technology. Alicia is a little bit worried right now, guys. Those 2 Zerglings could be very annoying. That sentry is going to need that probe.
There's 2 more.
Force field.
Ah, the sentry goes down. That's a big loss. That's 100 gas. And actually, he pulls back the Stalkers and the Zealot. So these 4 links basically kill a sentry and give HyuN the breathing room that he needs. Because those 2 Stalkers could have been annoying forever. Now harassing the probe line, even also getting a full scout. Seeing that there are 3 gates, double gas, and not much else. And Alicia is actually losing probes right now because he has to micro against these Zerglings. And he will micro against these Zerglings, but he's lost 6 probes already in this game.
That is absolutely insane amount of damage for slow Zerglings in this phase in the game. HyuN squeezing out 11 more drones. What could have been a very tricky position for HyuN turned out very well. He still had that Overlord look natural. He saw that, hey, if I rally these slow Zerglings across the map right now, I might be able to slow his aggression down a little bit. And rarely have I seen 4 slow Zerglings be that effective in a PvZ.
Yeah, and right now it's 50 drones against 25 probes, so that's double. That's amazing. HyuN went for the 3 hatch before pool. He got away with the no gas, and then he got the slow link counter to kill probes. This is the perfect position for him, but that pylon is looking to...
He's not out of the woods just yet, but this is, I mean, he has such a massive economy that he can even like throw down spines everywhere. Even like, you know, if he would lose that third base in a bizarre scenario, which I don't think is going to happen, but if that would happen, then he can still just like fall back to the natural, and he's still up 10-15 workers. And of course, as a Zerg player, you want to be up in bases, but if you have 2 base against 2 base, but you're up 20 workers, then it's okay too.
Yeah, 20 workers is something that's so good. Alicia will poke in here with 2 Stalkers once again in the Zealot, and link speed actually so far away from being done, but the Queens are helping. I believe there are some Zealots in the mineral line. Yes, there are. They're trying to kill some drones, but there are 3 Queens there, and with the help of the drones, he should be able to clean this up without problems. He's also making 24 links.
Oh, that transfuse is very annoying because that represents a lot of HP, a lot of unanswered damage as well there for Alicia. The Queens start working on one of these Stalkers right now, and the Mothership Core is still very healthy. And even though yes, he is losing a few drones here, he has to micro. He kills the Mothership Core, he picks up the Stalkers as well. That means that all of these Protoss units are dead in the water. And even though he just produced so many links, he is still up 17 workers. He is still up a base, and Alicia just lost quite a bit of gas. This is not looking good for the Action Protoss.
HyuN is pretty much doubling Alicia's supply right now, which is unheard of at this stage of the game. He's getting his roach speed. He's getting another queen. His creep spread is looking pretty good. He's getting a macro hatch. From here, it feels like HyuN can almost do anything. Do you think Alicia has any options here to get himself back in this game? What would you do if you were in this position?
Complain.
Complain about roaches.
No, I am not sure, Jos. I'm truly not sure. I think it's going to be very hard for him regardless. We see Blink being researched +1. You know, he lost a lot of gas already. Sentry Immortal with Blink Stalkers is always strong, but I have a hard time. I can't picture a scenario for myself where I think that Alicia has a realistic shot. Maybe just defend, try to survive the storm somehow, some way, but you know, there's no other way to say it. Alicia is in a very, very dark position right now. Or dark place.
Yeah, he's in a very dark place. He is getting blink, he is getting his +1, but everything is just so far behind. HyuN's already got sick production.
Big supply block as well here for Alicia. 60 out of 60, just wiped in his pylon.
Look at that. HyuN is going for drops. He wants to finish this one in style. Maybe just a massive Roach drop from the Roach King to end Alicia here. He is getting his Robo now, but I think HyuN from this point out, we're going to see him get nothing but Roaches and Overlords all the way to max, and then just do a massive drop to look to end this game.
And he's going to have an overwhelming amount of units, which is going to be so hard for the Protoss to deal with. Maybe, you know, did Alicia remake his Mothership Core? Yes, he did. So he will have a Photon Overcharge. Maybe if he gets a few cannons here and there, force field's in good position, but this is going to be very tough. And I do agree with you, you know, nothing more stylish than winning with a big Roach drop all over the Protoss place. Drop some creep here as well, you know.
Look at the supply, Kevin. This is so sad. This is double the supply. There's a supply block, so it's only going to get worse.
And Alicia is going up to 3 bases, which you can't fault him for, because he's in such a bad position that any 2-base push is most likely not going to work. So he's just like, you know what, I hope my Protoss or my opponent runs into my army a few times. I'm able to land some good force fields, and then somehow, some way I can crawl my way back into this game. But the worst thing that there is when you already have a very small army and you have to defend 2, if not 3 locations at once.
Yeah, and HyuN definitely has a very, very, very big army right now. He's also got the burrow upgrade. He's got the burrow movement, so once he does drop the units, he can start microing them everywhere.
HyuN is literally tripling the army supply right now of Alicia. It's 34 against 115, and then people say like, oh, it's a little deceiving. Sorry, that's the word I was looking for. A little deceiving, because Roaches take up a lot of supply. Yes, but if you're tripling it, it's still very, very good, and it means you have a massive army supply lead.
And the Observer does kind of ruin HyuN's party, because I'm pretty sure he wanted to move over there and do a big drop. Looks like he doesn't care though. He's going to go right under the Observer, and he's maxed out, and Alicia's at 100 supply, and his army is at his 3rd base. What is he going to do? This is such a doom drop if I've ever seen one.
Yep, we just finished up March Madness in the US, and now it's time for Roach Madness all over this Protoss base. So many Roaches are flying in. They will be dropped on top of this robotics facility. There is an Immortal, and that Immortal was brought into this world to be effective against Roaches. Well, he's going to have to turn on Terminator mode. Alicia's not even going to bother. GG. Good luck in the final. Very nice there of Alicia. HyuN with a fantastic performance here in the semi-final of WCS America.
HyuN just kind of absolutely crushes Alicia, at least in that last game. And he has to be feeling really good about that. He goes on 3-0 to the final. And once again, HyuN is in the final of a Premier tournament. It's been a while, but it's amazing to see him back. And it's also amazing to see this guy stick true to his style and just making Roach Hydra look imbalanced and winning games that other people can't win with that composition. But, you know, he just doesn't give up. He keeps attacking, and he played really, really well, and it's amazing to see him play like that.
I think he also plays such an entertaining style of ZVP. I think even if you're a Terran player, you have to enjoy matches like this. It's back and forth. There's always stuff happening. You can truly see macro is important in games like this. It's not like, oh, we build up a big army and then we wait and then we try to win. No, there was a lot of stuff happening. I definitely feel that Frost was a tipping point. You know, in game 1, I think there was a small window of opportunity for Alicia to make something happen. One time he overstepped his boundaries. You know, okay, it happens. Game 2, played an excellent game for the longest time, but then that fight at the left side, that went wrong a little bit, and HyuN just playing out of his mind somehow, some way. And then it's like, man, I had 2 opportunities to win a map, and now I'm down 0-2. And, you know, in Polar Night, it just didn't really click. Ever since those slow circlings messed up Alicia's early game, there was almost nothing to do anymore.
Yeah, playing against 3-hatch before pool is already very tough, and if something like that happens, it's really, really hard to come back. As you can see, Alicia really had no chance from that point on. He never even got close to HyuN's supply, and really sad to see him lose, because he did play a great game on Frost, like you said.
Yeah, it was an excellent series. I can't wait to see what HyuN has to say about it. So Paul and Susie, take it away.
Thanks very much, guys. Yes, with you. Well played. Good game. 3-0. And a terrific way of doing it, finishing it off in style at the end as well. Didn't want to just play out to win. You wanted to make sure you really crushed him in the last match.
제일 마지막 매체는 진짜 끝까지 걔가 완전히 죽을 때까지 했다고.
침착하게 했다 그러면. 일단 2대0으로 이기고 있는데 이제 3대0으로 이겼잖아요. 마지막 경기가 많이 유리한 상황이어가지고 좀 안전하게만 하면은 3대0으로 이길 수 있다 생각하고 최대한 안전하게 한 것 같아요.
He said that last game after he won 2-0, he decided I'm going to go very safe for the game 3 and just try to build up a really huge army. And he feels that patience really paid off on that one.
Yeah, definitely did. This is the first time you're in a WCS final. What does it mean to you right now?
지금 무슨 느낌인지.
WCS 지금 처음 결승 온 건데 WCS 제도로 바뀌고 나서 제가 작년에 2013년에 WCS를 잘 하지 못했어요. 그래서 좀 이번에 결승 이제 좀 늦게 온 감이 없지 않아 있는데 이번에 기회가 온 만큼 꼭 우승을 하고 싶어요.
He said, last year after he decided to do WCS, he hasn't had very good results at all. Just coming into this, he really, really wants to win this trophy.
Well, you're one step closer because one match left now to win. You've only won one big Premier tournament before, DreamHack last year. And if you don't mind me saying, I'm old, but you're not old. But old for StarCraft, you're 25 now. And does it get harder for you to keep coming back in these Premier tournaments every year?
나이가 들을수록 이렇게 큰 대회 하기가 힘들어지지 않아요?
예전엔 그런 생각이 없었는데 최근에 느낀 거는 이제 연습을 안 하면 기량이 금방 떨어지고 이제 그거를 끌어올리는 데는 오래 걸리는 것 같아요.
He said he didn't feel it too much before, but nowadays he realizes if he doesn't practice all that much, then all of a sudden a bit of his skill will drop, and getting it back to where he was takes a lot longer nowadays.
Okay. What is if you go on to win WCS, where does that rate? Is that like the best thing you've ever done in your career and in your gaming career?
우승을 하게 된다면은 너의 게이밍 커리어 중에 제일 좋은 건지.
네, 맞아요. 제가 최고 커리어가 지금 드림의 발렌시아 우승했던 거가 그거 하나인데 이번에 WCS 우승 꼭 해서 트로피를 가져가고 싶어요.
너한테 무슨 의미야 그게?
저에게는 2014년에 좋은 출발이 될 것 같아요.
Okay, he says the only big trophy that he has is from DreamHack Valencia, and so if he wins this, I mean, he really wants this bad, and he's saying if he wins this, what it means to him would be an amazing start to 2014.
Okay, one last question. Are your shoes helping you?
신발이 널 도움을 주는 것 같아요.
네, 그런 것 같아요. 네, 저에게 행운을 가져다 주는 것 같아요.
Yes, he feels that these shoes bring him a lot of good luck, and so he's wearing them.
Brilliant. Let's show them off. Look. Spider HyuN. Absolutely. Well, congratulations, HyuN. It's great to see you in such good spirit and go through the grand final. Best of luck. So HyuN is our first man through to the WCS America final at the very first attempt. Who's he going to play? We'll find out next. But first, let's get some analysis breakdown.
Thanks, Paul. Welcome to the analysis desk, ladies and gentlemen. We're just going to take another quick look at HyuN's very stellar 3-0 victory over his opponents. And the one moment I want to look at was from Frost in game number 2. We had seen a little bit of interesting mention by our commentators. Blinding Cloud is not an ability used terribly often in this matchup, but this situation in the game is a critical moment where this 4th base has been established by Alicia. There was a lot of harass going at the bottom side, trying to deny the 4th base of HyuN, and this was a situation where HyuN really needed to get a good trade, and the army compositions balance out in an interesting way that these Templar are looking to deny abducts from HyuN. It's very difficult to get those Vipers close enough without being feedback, since the Colossi can sit so far back in the army. So HyuN's bringing his army up. He's getting a very large, wide spread as we can start to play through this. And he's setting himself up with a concave that normally you would try to deal with force fields, but there's very little gas in this force. It's just a large number of stalkers, and the Templar we can see in the back are looking for those feedbacks, but the Vipers, not moving too close to those Colossi, instead place blinding clouds, covering this and forcing this army to move through a choke point where they can't really attack any of this very well-spread Zerg force. It allows them to hit from the bottom as well, killing probes at the same time. And as we go further into this, we can see that these units get forced to walk forward. Then he's able to get the abduct. He gets one feedback off, but there's still so much left over here that at the very least, he's in a position where he can kill this base, abduct the Colossi since all the Templar have been killed, very slow units that can't retreat. And once all of the Colossi are gone, HyuN establishes basically a game-winning position, using even more blinding clouds to force these stalkers to walk into the range of these very short-ranged roaches. And this is just one of those critical moments that allows HyuN to really hammer down this game. As a Zerg player, you don't want to be on 4 bases against 4 base Protoss, so this was an essential battle for him to basically seal this game for victory for himself. And I think that's just about it here at the analysis desk. We have a little bit more social media, I believe, to talk to Paul with.